This one's for anyone who feels a little bit of tension in the shoulders and the hips, especially the lower back. So if you find yourself needing to lift things, maybe for work, maybe gardening, maybe things in and out of the car, here's one to oil the joints that we use for those lifts. And we're going to soothe the joints through movement and stretching. So start with me. We'll start seated in a comfortable position. I tend to be comfortable in the tailor, but you might prefer the legs out in front or in a little letter V, completely up to you. Once we're here, we're starting to roll the shoulders a little bit, and then we're starting to circle the shoulders and the rib cage a little bit over the hips, and we go the other way. Then we're clasping the hands together. We're circling the hands here. We let the elbows bend deeply, and we go the other way. Then we're clasping with the other hand on top, circling that way. Elbows are bending in nice and deeply. We might wiggle the shoulders with us, and the other way. From here, we're reaching out the arms and we're coming in for a little tap. And then we open and tap. This next one, we're keeping the hug. We're hugging here. We walk the hands a little bit further behind us. And then we're tilting the shoulders over to one side and up. Other side and up. The next one, we're holding in the middle. We're tucking the chin down. And we're rocking a little bit forward and back. Soothing through the shoulders and the hips. Then we're lifting up the chin, we're opening the arms out, we tap the other side, we walk in the hug, that little bit more there, and now we're circling above the hips with the shoulders in the hug. We add as much or as little movement as we want. Maybe we're tilting the shoulders that little bit more as we go. We meet in the middle, we nod the chin down. And then we're taking the chin a little bit to one side, around the front, a little bit to the other side. One more each way there. We meet in the middle to lift up the chin, the elbows, the knees, and the feet. And then I'm coming sideways, just to show that we're going to hug behind the thighs. We're sitting up really tall through the spine. We might separate the knees and feet a little bit. We might feel a little pinch feeling at the hip flexors there. That's our stretch. We're looking for a really long, strong spine and upper back. We roll the shoulders a few times there. Then we're taking our hands right next to us on the mat, fingertips towards the hips. We're walking one foot off the mat, other foot off the mat. And we're taking the knees over to one side and then up. Over to the other side. And up. We continue a few times there. And the next one we hold just for that nice moment for the stretch of the hips and the lower back. We head on up and over to the other side. We head on up and then we're bringing the knees and feet in, looking at our posture again. Maybe we can sit up a little bit taller now that we've released tension at the hips and the lower back. We're heading into a little tuck and curl back. We tilt through the hips, we're tightening the rib cage, tucking and curling. Chin comes in for a moment and then we lift and lengthen. Shoulders are up, back and around. So our head is right over the shoulders, right over the rib cage and the hips. We wouldn't want to be jutting forward through the neck. We're up nice and tall. And equally, we will tuck and curl, but not just yet. We want lots of strength. We inhale as we lengthen. We exhale as we tuck and curl into our little C curl to the back. Then we continue at our own flowing pace as we inhale and exhale. Lots of warmth and movement for the lower back. Lots of strength for the front core. We need that strength at the front core if we're doing lifting every day, something or other that we have to lift and carry. All those little lifting moments will add up, so we want to strengthen the front core. And we want to remember to pull the core in when we're lifting something heavy. Last two. Last one, we meet up with that really long, tall spine. Then we're taking our hands to the mat. We're floating the hips up for a moment so we can bring the hips closer to the heels, and we're heading down onto our elbows. We'll lift up out of the shoulders, opening the heart to the sky for a moment there. Strong shoulders, nice open collarbones, and then we're heading on down. Onto one shoulder, other shoulder. I'm going to wiggle myself into view there. We're hugging the knees in, and we're a little ball on the mat, rocking the hips side to side. Looking to use our floor or our carpet, or if we have a mat that we're on, we're using the mat to massage our lower back. So we'll keep hugging one knee in, other knee in, just that little bit tighter. Then the big toes find each other and we're separating the knees. Toes stay together, knees are wide so we can reach for the ankles. Then very slowly we're circling the knees in the air. And that allows the mat to really nicely massage our lower back. We meet in the middle and we go the other way. We might notice that we want to go quickly, that's fine to start with, and then we start to go a little slower and slower, giving time for the soft tissues at the joints to relax so we can massage as well a little more slowly while we stretch a little more deeply. We meet in the middle and then we're circling the ankles, letting the toes wiggle as we go. And then we circle the other way. We're hugging the knees back together, feet are back together. And now we're bringing one foot down, other foot down. Hands open out wide like a letter T. Then we're taking the knees and feet really wide. And we're letting the knees go over to one side and up, over to the other side and up. Oh, my mat is making all sorts of funny squeaky noises. But mostly we're thinking about getting lots of mobility in the hips and lower back. When we're ready, we hold as a stretch. And we can even take the hand near the thigh to guide the thigh gently that little bit further open. And we lift the knees back to the middle. Other side, we've got our hand there to assist. And then we open on up. We're walking the knees and feet back to the middle. And knees and feet are about hip distance apart. We're doing little curls at the hips. We're tucking the hip bones. We're curling and tucking towards the rib cage a little bit there. Teeny tiny curls. As we do that, we pull in the lower abs. We tighten up the pelvic floor muscles. And when we tuck and curl, we bring the lower back a little closer to the mat. We're looking for warmth and mobility. Soothing any of our joints there, the lower back especially. Last two. Last one. Then we're heading on up, reaching for the sky. We lengthen through the arms and the fingertips, and the arms and fingertips are drawing little circles on the ceiling for a moment. We could start to slow down and do even smaller circles on the ceiling. Or bigger circles, rather. Maybe even bigger. Maybe even so big that the fingertips come all the way down, around, and up and around. We do a few in each direction. So when we change directions, we start small. We go bigger. We go bigger and slower. We might even go super big overhead and around and up. Then we're reaching for the sky, and we're going to use the mat to massage our upper back. So we clasp the hands together lightly. We're taking the arms and the shoulders over to one side. One shoulder peels away from the mat. We head to the middle, and we take the arms and shoulders to the other side. Knees stay pointing to the sky at the moment, and we're using the carpet to massage our shoulders and upper back. If we'd like to add on, arms go in one direction, knees go in the other, and we find our own little rhythm there. So nothing too fancy, just warming through the joints. Last two. And one. We meet in the middle, reaching for the sky, hugging one knee in, sending that leg to the sky just for a moment. And then we're circling the ankle. And the foot there, toes wiggling as we go. And the other way. Extra hug on in. And then we'll swap. One leg to the sky, lengthening the leg as much as we can, and we start to circle at the ankles and toes there. And the other way. Extra hug. And then we're bending that knee, both knees in for the hug. We'll find our hip opener. So we're putting one foot down, one ankle across the other leg, and then we're gently guiding the hip open. I'm going to wiggle for a moment so you can see. We're pressing the thigh to open the hip. If I press my knee joint, putting a lot of pressure on a joint, a delicate joint, so we want to press the thigh. Gently guiding the thigh open there. The other arm can reach for the sky and then reach all the way up overhead, finding the floor. And we can rock a little bit, side to side here. Letting the knees come closer to the floor on that side, and then the toes come closer to the floor on the other side. We explore our range of movement, does not have to be that big. Could be slower, of course. And then we gently press the thigh that little bit more. We're heading into our glute stretch. We reach through the sky, we reach for the other thigh, we hug in. We rock a little bit side to side, forward and back. And then we're hugging and holding here for a moment. Extra hug on in. And we'll swap legs for the thigh opener on the other side, other ankle across. We find the thigh and gently press. We might reach overhead. Sometimes I like to bend that elbow to really open through the shoulder. And we look for movement at the hips and the lower back. Never forcing a movement, just exploring our comfortable range. The more we pull in the lower abs, we're protecting the lower back as well as we go. Wonderful. We meet back in the middle, gently pressing the thigh away. And then we're reaching for the sky, heading for our number 4 glute stretch, where we hug the thigh on in. We rock side to side, forward and back, and then we keep hugging there. While we're here, we might notice if we're tense in the neck and the upper back, our chin and nose might be pointing to the sky. So we relax, we wiggle the shoulders, we lengthen the spine, including the neck, towards the mat, and our chin is slightly tucked in. And that will help with our body awareness and our form during stretching. And it will help with body awareness and form when we're lifting things. We want to keep the chin tucked in, shoulders away from the ears, and a long, strong, neutral neck and spine. A little bit more of a hug there. And then we release, putting one foot down, other foot down. Really quick butterfly. We're opening the knees like butterfly. Wings, we flutter the knees a little bit. And then we let the knees open. We could have our hands guiding the thighs apart. We could be supporting the thighs, up to us. We're there for a moment. And then slow motion. We're rocking one knee over towards the mat. Might touch, might not. And then the other knee. We support at the hips, if we prefer to. Could be going much more slowly than I am. There's no rush. And then when we're ready, we meet in the middle. We're there for that moment. We flutter a little bit more, and then we relax, letting gravity do the effort for us. While we're here, we can take the chin over to one shoulder for that extra stretch into the neck, up to the middle, and then over to the other shoulder. And to the middle. We're lifting up one knee and the other knee, hugging the knees and feet on in, our little ball hug, heading into happy baby, one of the greatest little stretches we can do at home on the floor, carpet, for our lower back and hips. We bend the knees deeply, we guide the feet right over the knees. We might hold the legs or the sides of the feet. We separate the knees and feet, and then like a happy baby on a mat, we rock and wiggle, side to side. If the toes want to wiggle and move, we do so. If we want our head to move, we move. We enjoy movement, just like the label on the tin, the happy baby. We do any movement. We pedal the feet. All of our joints will thank us for those types of gentle movements. And then we settle into happy baby, letting the knees sink towards the elbows. And we let gravity and time do the rest. We're going to stay here for 30 seconds. We move any of the extremities that want to move, like the toes. And we're letting gravity and the passage of the time, the 30 seconds, really relax the hips and the lower back. Extra little wiggle. And then we'll guide the knees and feet together. We'll tuck on down. And we're putting one foot down, other foot down, so we can come to one side. And we gently press ourselves up, all the way up. So we're lifting the knees and feet together. We're sending the hips to the heels, bending at the elbows. And we're here in a little mid-height child's pose. We start to push the hips behind us towards the sky. Shoulders are guiding away from the ears. So we're here, getting deeply into a stretch to create lots of space at the hips and the lower back. From here, we pull in the core, we tuck and curl on up into a cat stretch in the child's pose, tucking the chin in. Really lifting up out of the shoulders, feeling the ribs stretch, the upper back stretches. Then a few more like that. We inhale when we lengthen the spine, pushing the hips away. We exhale when we tuck and curl on up. We inhale as we lengthen. We exhale on the tuck and curl. One more set. And then we're relaxing down, taking the hands together, forehead towards the hands. And once we're there, we can rock a little bit side to side through the hips, through the shoulders, soothing the forehead a little bit on the hands as well. And we're breathing here just for a moment. Again, it's an effortless stretch, just like happy baby. We let time, the passage of time, whether it's 10 seconds or 30 seconds or even a whole minute, we let the passage of time plus gravity do any of the effort for us. From here we inhale and then we exhale, bringing the elbows and the hands next to us. We tuck and curl on up, pressing on up, lifting up the head, and we'll meet back in our preferred seated position. Could be child's pose or tailor position, hair check, and then we're here, rolling the shoulders a little bit. We start to take the chin over to one side, down to the shoulder, around the front, over to the other shoulder, and then around the front. Couple more like that. Sometimes pain in the hips and the lower back will travel up to the shoulders and the neck. So we want lots of warmth and movement there. We start to slow down that little bit more. And then when we're ready, we're meeting in the middle, Rolling the shoulders here. Rolling through the elbows a little bit each way. Rolling through the wrists and the hands a little bit there. And then we're circling the shoulders and the rib cage over the hips. We let the elbows, wrists and hands, even the head relax and come along. And there we go. We've warmed up through the lower back. Quite a bit, hips and lower back. And a little bit through the rest of the body as well. Thank you very much for joining me today. Hope you're feeling great. Give yourself a nice big hug and a wiggle. And a clap, and see you next time.